Hello there. Okay, my name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee, and today, oh hello, stick me head in, I am real. Okay, today I want to make, oh this is filthy isn't it, an owl, okay, cause I do. And I want him to have little beaky ears because I want him to be a bit eagle owl. And obviously I want him to have huge eyes because, well, because he's an owl. And he has a little beak as well. Now, yeah, I know. It's difficult for me because I want to make him as complicated as possible. So I am, okay? And you can take which bits you like, I suppose, from him, or, yeah, we'll do it that way. So I'm going to leave that there. Oh, sorry, that's not a really bad mouth. That's a pocket for putting remote controls in. Because I was thinking, well, what do you use these owls for? Because every sewing book, every tutorial has got an owl in it. And you can either make him as a big cushion. We're going to use lovely leftover fabric and make him nice and colourful. So we're going to do a breast there. I have some leftover fleece, so I'm going to give him some feathers as well. And then he's going to have a big pocket for the front for remote controls. He's going to have a base so that he stands up so he could be a doorstop. So he's going to be everything. And I think I'm wrong about this. I really do. I think I should just make a simple owl so that we can all understand what I'm talking about. But, you know, this is me. So, let's do the pattern. Now, this is the pattern for the back. Yeah? And for the front, I'm going to cut away this piece. And this will be on the fold. So I'll need to hem it. I'll need extra hem allowance. Then I'm going to do the base. Now, the base needs to be 4 of those, excluding the hem allowance. So it won't be that big. I'm going to do a beak. I'm going to do some wings, which I'm going to stitch on the side. So I'll need 4 of those, 1 of those, 1 of those. I'm going to do some big eyes. Now I do have some seal eyes left over, so I know they're huge, really are. And I think they'll be perfect, but you could use buttons, you could use felt. So I'm going to need 4 of those. And what else do I need? I'm sure I've left out something very important. Oh, the pockets. The pockets are just going to be a strip, and then we're going to gather it, and it's going to be as long as possible. So you need 4 whips of those, and then a third, I would say. And then for the floofy ears, probably not quite as much. So, yes, that's the pattern, and I will write it out a bit better, but I will use that for today. And I need a bit of this, just to get the body. So that's grand. Now, obviously, we're making a nice patchwork owl. I have some quilting fabric, and I have some polycotton that's nearly as thin as quilting fabric. I'm having a lot of trouble with scissors again. Yeah, I'm sure everyone who's ever sewn anything says that. But I'm going to grab my pinking shears and just use those. Although, you know, if I could find my scissors, I would be using them. But I do tend to bury things. So lovely. Okay, that's going in the bin. This is going somewhere where I can find it. Probably going to bury my scissors under it. And I am going to start cutting. Now this is the pile of fabric that I've got here for it. So you can see that I've got there's no, this is literally what I've got. It's not that I've colour coded it. So I'm going to make use of the bigger pieces for the bigger pieces in the pattern. Now, one thing that you have to do is you have to lie them out so that you've got them the right side up. What I mean by that is that I'm going to do 2 facing upwards, and then I'm going to do 2 facing downwards to cut the back, because now I'm always really naughty. I just am. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 4 backs, and then I'm going to cut out the front. So there we go, and I have a weight, and I really would love my scissors. Okay, it's not important, is it? So as long as we've got these the right way round, and you can see that I'm using the weight. And because it's a loose pattern, what I call a loose pattern is a pattern that I've made up myself, so it doesn't need to be cut accurately. In fact, I'm failing miserably. But these are the most important bits. Everything else is just sort of added on, and yeah. Okay. So, for the base, I have heat protector. It's great if you can get some. I've actually put some underneath my sewing machine now, and it cuts down the noise so much. It really does. And I'm basically cutting an oval. So these pinking shears will be great for I'm going to give him a fluffy belly. Did I say that? Because of, I think they deserve it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips with this, so and then sew them on, and they'll be straight, and I will get them as perfectly floofy as I can, because I want it to represent fluffy feathers. And then for the strips for the pocket, I haven't used this one yet. I'm going to use this one. This is a nice fleecy material, so I did pyjamas out of it. And for the ears, then I'm going to go back and do some of those in the wings as well. Okay, so I've got my cutting out to do, and I'll switch you back on in a moment. So welcome back. Okay, now I've cut out all my bits. It kind of makes sense to me, it kind of doesn't, and I decided against using the pinking shears for the floofy bits on the belly. And what I'm doing is I'm just cutting out these. I just didn't think it was clear enough. The pinking shears aren't sharp enough, and yeah, so we just do this. So there we go. So just zigzags. Lovely, and it's a long enough strip so I can do it a couple of times. Okay, so what else do we need to do? We need to keep everything in one place. This is a very true bit of information here. And this is what I'm going to use for the belly. And I need 2 of these for the front. So, and then we can decide on the back. Literally, I am going to cut out 2 bits. Then I'm going to fold the bit that I want to use as the belly, and I'm going to use this with the flat side and cut out the piece I'm using for the belly. Okay, with a hem allowance, alright, that's very important. So I'm going to push all that to one side. I don't need that, and I'm going to keep everything I need on the table. You know I'm not going to find any of this, don't you? Alright, get my sewing machine. I'm going to stick with red thread all the way through, and the reason for that is because I like it, and so that you can see. Okay, so each bit I sew, I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay, this is my floofy ear bit. Okay, I'm not going to tell you if it makes sense or not, but I'm going to tell you what I'm sewing. So, floofy ear bit. Other floofy ear bit. I'm going to fold over and I'm going to sew one end. This is because these are going to be sticking out. Yeah, it was doing that earlier and I don't understand it at all. It's sort of winding around the bobbin, winding around the spiky bit, and then it gets knotted and then it doesn't work at all. So I think I might have to get somebody to look at it. Now these are the wings and I'm going to turn them inside out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the top unsewn and I'm going to sew these together. So we've got two pieces of wings. Now I found whilst I was cutting out that you could spend too much thought on these pieces, on the colouring. So, you know, I literally had to step back and just go, okay, that, and that. So, you know, do take heed that, you know, it might not be the most important thing. Okay, so you should be sewing right side to right side. Obviously, I made a mistake just then, and I'm going to make sure that the button is on the inside. Lovely. So yeah, it's done it again. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll put it on the bobbin one because that's still... Okay, this is my pocket, so I need to do a seam along the top of my pocket. Actually, okay, forget that, that's not my pocket. Okay. Yes, don't ever let me catch you ripping fabric. Now my pocket needs to be gathered, but the hem at the top does need to be seamed. So, what I'm going to do, if I can, is find a little bit of elastic. I would have liked a piece of black elastic, but, you know, such is life. And I'm going to place that in the pocket, in this fold. And then when the sewing machine catches it, now I should be able to sort of hear the difference. Then I'm going to put some tension on here, fold that once, fold that twice, tuck that under, and then carry on sewing. Now, I know I did that very fast. It's because if I try and explain it any slower, I probably wouldn't be able to. This elastic is not essential, okay? So, but we're extreme owling at the minute, where I could do a very easy sew here if I wanted. I didn't want to do it myself. So there we go, we've got that. What next? So these two halves are rubbish. This is your owl bit. Now we don't need to put the ruffles in the bit under the pocket because this is all one piece, but we do need to put the owl bits up the top. Now what I did is I cut long strips because I'm lazy, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this under the foot and I'm going to sew a line at the top here and then I'm going to trim it. high as I'm going to go with those. Let's take that out. Put those all over there. And then I'm going to trim that there. And that's the lowest I'm going to go. So I'm going to do that next. Lovely, take that out. And so I can trim it. As I've got scissors, I'm just showing off now that I found my scissors. And I'm going to do another row, and I'm going to offset them. So they would be not offset, and they would be offset. And then I'm going to sew it on. Take that off again. Give it a little trim. Save that bit. Okay, I'm going to grab some more. Now in my magic bag down here, I have bags full of everything. I have got some black fleece as well, but I think I'm going to stick with white. I didn't realise I'd need quite as much as that, so maybe I should stop the camera again and move on. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I'm going to get a few more of those and sew that in. So I'm going to put that to the side. What else do we need? Whew. Should we start sewing in things? Oh, I could sew in my eyes next. Now what I'm going to do with these is, cheat a bit, is I'm going to sew them completely round, and then the inside one I'm going to snip a little hole in the corner. So there we go. So I'm doing the V, I'm leaving the needle down and lifting the foot up to turn the fabric. So I've got a nice sharp point on it. And then I'm going to do the circle. And then I've got the beak to do. And then I'm going to get all my pieces ready for the next sew, which is pretty much sewing all together. So yeah, if you're having trouble with this, you can take the foot off. I'll do that with the next one, actually. I must admit, I'm not very good with the foot off, but you can forgive me if I'm not very good. Lovely. Now these literally are going to be wonky eyes. Don't know why. They are. So what I've done is I've taken the foot off. Now, okay, you need to lower this, because if it's up, your bobbin tension isn't on. Okay, so I know it feels just wrong. Okay, and then we sew, but we hold it all down, and we're careful not to stitch our fingers, because one thing the foot does is it protects your fingers. So yes, don't know why I did that, that's habit. And then we hold it flat and we just, not too fast because you'll pull it, just sew it. So yes, and you don't need to lift your foot up again just to sew. So I did say I wasn't very good at this. I've seen people that can sign their name and everything, and they must be very clever. They must be. So now I know that there's no turning point. This is because I'm going to cut a hole in the back, because, you know, it's not going to be seen. And there we go. Yes, so if you're not very good at that, you can try it this way. You might be better at it this way. And it's good to know. It's good to know whether you can do that or not. So, lovely. Going to get rid of that, and I'll probably do another one when I do the floofy bits for the front. So, let me find my foot. Oh no! I'm well aware that I got drenched twice today. It's the middle of May. The weather's supposed to be lovely, and I got saturated. And they're only showers, you know, most people can kind of avoid them and never get wet. I just managed to catch them. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm doing the beak, and the inside of the beak is cut, but the upside of the beak is a diamond shape, so that I can turn it inside out. And I'm going to have the blue on the inside because I've got quite a lot of blue at the front. And you know, if you were to ask me which was my favourite fabric, I would have said the Jelly Babies. Oh, the Licorice All Sorts, actually, the purple Licorice All Sorts. So I should really put the purple Licorice All Sorts mainly at the front because that's my favourite colour. That's my favourite fabric in this. So we've got all the bits now, and we've got to get them all ready so that we can sew them on. I said that I was going to... Okay, so this is not got a turning circle. I'm going to do a little snip in the back of the eye. Oh, sounds terrible, doesn't it? But I want it to be as floofy and as poofy as possible without actually using wadding. So lovely. I've got a good 1.5 inches there. If I tried to do it with any less, then I might rip the fabric. But you'll see that it won't show, and it will be sealed by either the eye, the plastic animal eye, or the button that I'm going to sew on. So, lovely. Okay, I think it's time to switch the camera off and have a quick tidy up and get everything in piles ready to go for the next sew. So, lovely. And I wanted to do it with the V sticking out so that he's got that glint in his eye. And there we are. So there we are. And then that face up. Because he's a rock star owl. Lovely. Alrighty. So everything's going to be in a state of disarray in a minute. Thank you.